And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second series here of the night of WTL 2024 Summer Contest Round 8, day number 3. We just wrapped up with Offside Esports versus Twisted Fairy. Twisted Fairy did come out on top. We were able to feature the debut of Big Game, but now we are here with Shopify Rebellion versus BASILISK. Let's go. We have Harstem versus Serral, ByuN versus ShoWTimE, and Scarlett versus Reynor. Oh boy, some of the two bigger teams facing off here in the final day, in the final series of Round 8. Let's go. Up first, of course, we have Harstem versus Serral, and it's great to see Serral once again. Serral has been inconsistent when it comes to competing in WTL, but for good reason. It's because of his military service. Because of his military service, he, for the most part, has not been available. Every now and then he is going to be able to compete, but it's few and far between. We're lucky enough to see him this time this week. We do appreciate it. For those that are curious, Serral at the start of the season, he did kind of have his kind of military schedule, and he had a couple of free weekends, and it was during those free weekends where he let his team know so that he could be fielded for WTL. So yeah, I think this is his third time this season. I think it's third time, but oh my god, we're just jumping right in. And in the top right hand corner, we have Harstem for Shopify Rebellion. In the bottom left, we have Serral for BASILISK. Let's go. Our PVZ has arrived. Serral versus Harstem. And again, Serral, he is a little bit out of practice. A little bit. I mean, it's one of those things where technically Serral was still conducting his military service and out of practice. And he won DreamHack Dallas. That's the thing, right? Even an out of practice, or even a Serral that has other commitments and other things taking up his free time, he is still a beast and still the best player in the world. Oh boy. So it is difficult for anyone to face off against him. But what I will say is that this format is very different. Of course, Harstem has had some time, has had a couple of days to prepare for this series, has some specialized builds, I'm sure prepared specifically for Serral, and you do have the capacity to snipe your opponents, especially in Game 2. Even if Game 1 goes the way of Serral, Harstem, I'm sure, has a spicy build ready for Game 2 to bounce back. We have seen Serral drop plenty of maps here in WTL. I think it was in the last season of WTL where Maru actually had a higher ELO than Serral, because Maru was dropping less maps than Serral himself, which was crazy to think of. But for now, we are settling in, and it is going to be a gate expand here from Harstem. Standard opener from our Protoss player. Meanwhile, Serral going for a hatch gas pool. Standard opener from our red Zerg. Everything looking as it should for the time being. We're leading into Crimson Court. Crimson Court known for its very safe third base. Likewise, known for its very aggressive center base. What I'm referring to is that at the center of the map, there is a Risk-Vesting Gas Geyser that you can embrace. And with that Risk-Vesting Gas Geyser, it can lead into a big 3-base all-in where you just go for a Queen Walk across the map or a German Taxi. All-ins are not uncommon on Crimson Court because of that base. Likewise, if we can go into a longer game, Harstem has a much more secure third that looks pretty well defendable. Oh my god, as we are spicing things up already here. Not going for a Stargate, going for a Twilight Council instead. Okay, Harstem, you have my attention. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener. With this, I imagine we can work towards we can work towards Glaives or DTs. Could be a Dark Shrine opener or Glaive Adepts. We'll keep an eye on Harstem to see which one we do embrace and where we head. Meanwhile, Serral is going for the center base. And meanwhile, we have pulled out of our gas geysers. We have a 2-gate opener. This looks like Glaives. Yeah, this does scream Glaive Adepts, as we have pulled out of gas. Overlord taking a lot of damage. There we go. Glaives are on the way. Now, what's important here is that this is a unique variation of Glaive Adepts. I don't know if you noticed, but I believe it's 3 gates. I believe it is a 3-gate setup here for Harstem. Oh, the Link scats everything. That is brutal. Serral sees all and he knows all. Now, 3 gateways, 3-gate Glaives. This is an economic Glaive build. What does that mean? It means that we have no Robo. We have no Robo, which means that the money that would have been spent on a Robo can be spent on a base. And there it is. There's a Nexus. So this is a macro Glaive Adept build out of Harstem. is macro glaives. This is going to be less committed, less aggressive, less adepts to work with. It's designed to harass across the map, yes, but not really do much more than that. As we work on the next step, as we work on the third. Meanwhile, Serral responds with a Bathing Nest. Bathing Nest has been thrown down. Serral gets eyes on the third base. He's amassing up Lings as we speak. And Serral's goal here is to shut down the Adepts with Ling Bane. It's a risky maneuver here out of Serral. Very risky to go for this kind of defense. Roaches are more secure. Ling Bane is more efficient technically, like resource-wise, I guess. But as it does lead towards Hydras in the follow-up, we'll see how this works out. Queens are moving forward. Lings are amassing. Can Harstem break through? No workers here at the center base. Is under fire. Harstem doesn't quite commit to the shade. Dancing with the queens, trying to focus one down. Alas, Serral does pull away, does save the queen. Nice moves here from Serral. Does maintain himself. Banelings are amassing. And it looks like Serral's going for an all-in. It looks like Serral, he's responding with 3-gate glaives with a greedy economic build. Going up again, and he's going to be shutting it down with a Bane Bust. Oh boy, risky maneuver here from Serral, but he's going to be looking down the Adepts. Coming in for the surround, he will look down the Adepts. The Banelings, they come in, they crash on board. Massive connections, oh my god. And Serral, he shuts down the Adepts. Overcharges pop, but it doesn't even matter. Nice force field though, very nicely done. Banelings trying to rotate around, trying to bypass that force field. They do slip in. Shield battery does fall. And Serral, he's broken the base. He's broken the third. We're going to try and hold on with that Immortal, going for the Nexus itself. And it looks like we're going to hold on. Harstem, with that Immortal, we will defend the third. And now Serral's in a bit of trouble here because this had to kill. This had to kill the third base. This is not enough damage. Uh-oh. This is still not enough damage. We have more Ling Bane amassing. Queens were trying to waddle in, trying to take parts, but alas, they weren't able to. And Harstem, he's holding on. Harstem is barely holding on here. Queens are waddling in. Shield battery about to finish up. Lings, do they get us around? Oh, they barely do not. The force field is looking solid. Banelings, they waddle into the mineral line. They crash in. Oh, they take down the sentry. They take down the Adepts. And Lings, it looks like we will clean up these Immortals. Immortals on their own, they do nothing. They melt before those Lings. And it looks like we have finally broken the third. Yeah, third is going to go down. The Immortal's exposed. No, get out of here. The Immortal gets caught out. It's overextension by Harstem. GG gets called. And Serral takes game number 1. Whew. GG. I'm impressed that Harstem had the initial defense. I'm very impressed that Harstem was able to have that initial hold. But unfortunately, he just wasn't able to get ready for the secondary wave, for the second push from Serral. Serral is so quick to dive on top of him. To waddle in with those Banelings. We had the one force field, but the one force field was not enough. And Harstem taking that loss a little bit hard, actually. Not looking too happy there. I mean, I think he knows that he had a really good start with the initial defense. So he knows that, like, it wasn't insurmountable to survive that and to make a game out of that as well. GG. GG. Serral takes the lead, but now it is Harstem's map of choice. This makes sense. We're loading into Dynasty. This is a very commonly picked map whenever a Protoss is going up against a Zerg. Reason why, this map is often vetoed. This map is considered to be Protoss favored. More often than not, we see Harstem not really feeling too good about that last game, actually. Hopefully he can shake it off. Hopefully he can shake it off. But again, this map is very often picked from Protoss players when there's no veto just because of the gold. This is a map where the Protoss can take the gold and the Zerg cannot. Because of that, we've seen a lot of all-ins. Most Zerg players that are forced to play on Dynasty, they just go for all-ins. They just go for all-in after all-in. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. Zerg players have been struggling on this map, but I'm curious how Serral will approach this. Now, the all-in that I'm referring to, a lot of Zerg players do just race into the gold on the other side, but here we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Harstem for Shopify Rebellion. And in the top right, we have Serral for BASILISK. Here we go. Okay, it's going to be a 15-15 opener, and Serral, yeah, he's going for the all-in. You can see the drone movement for Serral. He's going for the goal base on the other side. I was curious if Serral was going to have a different approach, but this is the go-to build in ZVP on Dynasty. What I'm referring to, as you can see on the minimap, we're taking the goal base on the other side. We've seen this a lot from players like Dark, Solar, Scarlett. This is a very exposed base, but the reason why we take this base on this side, one, it's more defendable because you're on the same side as the Adepts would be, so you can deflect the Adepts and actually protect the mineral line. It also gives you access to the Rich Testing Gas Geyser, and this commonly does lead into a Roach all-in. Because of the abundance of minerals and gas income that we have, it should go into an all-in. We shouldn't be headed towards like a longer macro game. So Serral does embrace it, like everyone else, and we'll see how Harstem responds. Now, what I will say is that because this build that Serral is going for is so common, Harstem, I'm sure, has practice against it, right? Like this isn't like gonna blindside Harstem by any means. He's, I'm sure, very well versed against this kind of opener, against this kind of build, especially with being teammates with Scarlett and Lambo. They themselves have done this build many a time, so I'm curious how Harstem approaches it. How does he approach it? As for now, he's going for the gold. He is going for his own gold base as well. Now, usually what we would see here is we build up towards a massive timing to break the gold of the Zerg, just because that gold base is so exposed and so out of the open. So I'm curious if Harstem works towards something like a Stargate opener into Glaive Adepts. Nope, we're going straight up Twilight Council. Okay. Gonna be another Twilight Council opener here out of Harstem. Now, I do like this a little bit more compared to the previous game, just because Serral now has to kind of pick and choose and split up his army to defend both bases at once, and it can be quite difficult to defend them. So I'm curious if Harstem is going to go for Glaives 2 games in a row. We'll keep an eye on Harstem. We'll see if we do go for Glaives. We have yet to really confirm the gas income in the main, so I don't know if there's going to be a Dark Shrine opener or Glaives yet. As we're keeping our eyes on the production tab. Adept gets across the map. Nice defensive fire to Serral. Does maintain his mineral line. Yeah, 2 more gates are on the way. This should be Glaives. So far, this looks like the same build. If you weren't here for game 1, this is 3 gate Glaives. This is a macro Glaive build out of Harstem. We usually follow this up with a 3rd base. And this is designed to harass across the map to get a bit of economic damage and to follow it up with 3 base play. So the same build 2 games in a row. As I mentioned before, I do like this a little bit more on Dynasty, just because you can punish the Zerg player and catch them off guard. Overlord Scout does confirm the Twilight Council. Or does it? I don't think we quite saw it though. Ooh, we're doubling down. Bold move. Harstem, so he's going 3 gate Glaives, followed by the Dark Shrine. Now, the Twilight Council was spotted. I was just quickly double-checking there. And yes, the Overlord did get eyes on the Twilight Council. But if we think it's the same build, it kind of is, it kind of isn't. Which is why I really like this from Harstem. He's making it look like the same build 2 games in a row, which means if Serral, if he kind of assumes, if he makes the assumption, then he will skip his spores. If he skips his spores, the Invisible Man can win the game. So a nice mind game out of Harstem. This time Serral responds not with Banelings but with Roaches. He's cutting workers at 33 and Roach production has commenced. You may be thinking that this drone count is actually very, very low and very all in. It is low, but because of the gold base, we can make use of a lower drone count and still maintain ourselves. So it's not as bad as we collapse on the Adepts and we get the surround. Yeah, the Queens, they come in as well. They add some DPS. Adepts are falling. Not the best start for Harstem. Bleeding off a lot of Adepts. Spores are on the way. Serral, he's playing safe. Yeah, Serral, he doesn't assume that it's just going to be the same build 2 games in a row. We have Adepts, so we have Spores on the way in the natural and at the gold. We're getting ready. Serral does overextend, bleeds out a lot of Lings. Ravager's on the way. Serral is going for his own counter all-in. Yeah, he's going for the counter all-in. Now, what this means is that defensively, DTs can hold. True. We have the lair on the way. We catch a Ravager. Bit of miscontrol there from Serral. A bit of mismovement. 1 Ravager goes down. Well, the Biles will connect. We lock down the Adepts. And Serral is committed. Behind this, DTs are waddling in. Would you spot them? No Spore in the main. Oh. And again, defensively, DTs, they do force back those Ravagers. Serral, he's in trouble. Yeah, leaves away and does bust in. Spore's repositioning. Drones are going down, but only 3 so far. Very nice defense here out of Serral. He does maintain his worker count. Did lose mining time, but he defends. Does defend. At the same time, Ravager's under fire. Wings don't quite get the surround. Oh! Casito, almost. And the game will continue. The game will progress from here. Now, bearing in mind that because of the build of Harstem, remember, he was never all in. It was 3 gate glaives into DTs into a 3rd base. So Harstem is selling into his own 3 base economy. Likewise, so is Serral. The game will continue. The game will progress. When it comes to our setup here, who do I favor? I mean, Harstem, he's going to have Charger Archon. Charge is on the way, and these DTs can morph into Archons as well. So that's a decent composition to work with. Meanwhile, Serral, he's already got the Lair. Very important. He's got mobile detection, and he's building up towards Roach speed. I mean, Serral has map control. He has map control, and with Roach Ravager, he can threaten the goal base of Harstem. So I would give the edge to Serral here, as DTs do waddle into the gold. So far, good reaction. We do pull away. Oh my, not losing a single unit. Oh my god, Serral doesn't lose a single unit. Ravager gets across the map, goes to the vial. Ooh, takes out a probe. And denies mining time. Does deny mining time. Harstem moving out. Is expanding, taking a 4th. He's taking his 4th base. And so far, so good. Harstem should be able to establish it. Meanwhile, Serral back at home, he's cutting workers early on at 62. That's 3 base saturation. Uh-oh. Serral massing up his own Ling Roach Ravager army. We have Tunneling Claws on the way, Burrow as well. Serral looking to spice things up with some burrowed roaches. Until then, Harstem going for a split push. Zealots on one end and on the other. Yeah, Serral, he keeps up. He shuts down both Zealots, both run-bys. Very impressive. It denies the counterattacks here of Harstem. And Serral, he's building up towards that Roach push. Is sprinkling in a couple of workers. He's getting up to now 4 base saturation. We're getting there. Big run-by has arrived. If the minerals were mined through, then Lings could actually bust in. For now, just the Ravagers and the Roaches. And punish this. And we do mine through. Oh, we did mine through. Lings, they bust into the base. At the same time, we go for a big warp into the main. Zealots will be able to take down some reinforcements. Ooh. But the shield battery does fall. We get 7 probe kills. Harstem going to be collapsing in. Going to attempt to. Alas, the Changeling wall off. Oh my god. Changeling, they do delay the reinforcements. The last Archons, they're exposed. They're going down one after the other. Big overextension here by Harstem. Losing every single Archon. Ay, ay, ay. GG gets called as Harstem's army crumbles, and Serral will take the 2-0. GG, well played. Whew, very impressive stuff there out of Serral. Again, he did come in as the heavy favorite, but a shout out to Harstem because he did come in clear. Us go. We are getting ready here. We do have a ShoWTimE on the right, ByuN on the left, and we're loading into Alki on it. Oh boy. Again, ShoWTimE, for those that are maybe unaware, ShoWTimE did partner with BASILISK. He's not on BASILISK, but you know, the two teams have come together here for Big BASILISK, if you will, BB. And ShoWTimE is going to be stepping in instead of Trigger. And here we go. We're getting to game 1. And in the top right-hand corner, we have ByuN for Shopify. In the bottom left, we have ShoWTimE for BASILISK. Here we go. We're settling into into our second set. To our second best of 2. BASILISK with a strong lead, but ByuN is the ace player of Shopify Rebellion. So if there's ever anyone to bring it back for Shopify, it's ByuN. ByuN is the one to bring it home, is the one to pull it off. Go. Just don't forget everyone to stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water, man. Drink plenty of water. Oh, as we are settling in. And ByuN does have a unique kind of playstyle here in this matchup. He's very active, very drop heavy, very bio heavy as well. Always a treat to watch. And we'll see if this more aggressive style out of ByuN is able to break the defenses of ShoWTimE. As ShoWTimE is known for a more slower macro play instead. These two styles will collide. So now we do see ShoWTimE going for a gate expand, or gate cyber expand. Standard open out to ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, ByuN going for a greedy, going for an economic opener, going for a Rax into CC. Single gas opener out of ByuN. I'm a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see an opener like this. We can see it's slightly off center, but we can always lift and land. But it is refreshing just because we've been casting so many TVPs as of late, and a lot of them have been double gas openers, so I'm happy to see something more economic and more macro-oriented. I appreciate it. Do appreciate it. So we are going to be settling in. And oh my god, we saw this earlier today actually, if you recall. We did see this in the previous matchup, but ByuN is going to be embracing a 3cc 3 racks. We saw this actually out of Hero Marine, if you remember. Hero Marine in the previous series with Offside Esports versus Twisted Fairy. Hero Marine versus Classic on Post Youth. So this is a, I don't know if I want to say common, but not an uncommon build, I should say. Has been quite trendy over the past couple of months. We do sprinkle it in. It is a very greedy economic opener. 3cc 3 racks, a way to really boost yourself into the mid game. Quite hard, actually. So it does mean that early on, ShoWTimE is pretty safe and sound. There's no early game aggression. There's no like Widowmine drop. There's no Reaper Hellion harass. There's no Raven harass either. ShoWTimE is safe and sound to just macro up and get into his own expansion. Meanwhile, ByuN is building up towards the mid game. You know, we're building up our bio army, working towards stim. We'll take a third base, and then we can be active on the map. So really what I'm getting at is buckle in. Yeah, strap yourselves in. And we're going to be getting ready for a longer series. For a longer back and forth. It makes sense because we're on Alkionivore maps, you know, a very macro-oriented map in the map pool. Third base now being taken for ShoWTimE, so it was 2-gate blink into a third. Very economic build here by ShoWTimE, getting to his third. Likewise, greedy build out of ByuN. So no signs of aggression. No signs of aggression from anyone involved. We're embracing at least the mid game. Maybe even the late game. Could get there. Could get there. As the Reaper is going to be getting across the map, dipping in. Does dip in. Just getting some scanning information for now. Does confirm the third base. Does confirm the Twilight Council. And just getting a read, a feel for the game state. As we're building up towards Stim, combat shields +1, all the upgrades are on the way. Third base from ByuN should soon be taken as well. And there is that starport in production. With that starport, we should be going for an add-on swap for reactor and medevac production to get into drop play. And over the next minute or so, ByuN with those medevacs can now be active on the map and start to threaten ShoWTimE. Can start to threaten. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE dips in with the Observer, does confirm the bio army. Immediately we have the Bay on the way, Colossal production on the horizon. Observer confirms all the Raxes, but oh, it is going to be spotted and is going to be sniped. Keen eyes there out of ByuN. Does spot the Observer. Does shut it down, going for additional Raxes. Getting into a 5-rack setup, which makes sense on 3 bases. Solid production line here. Solid production for ByuN. Third CC being taken. We dance with the Stalkers. And we don't quite pick them off. Ooh. ShoWTimE does barely blink away, preserves all the Stalkers. Nicely done. Well, activates ShoWTimE into the army. Ooh, bleeds off 2 Stalkers though. Yeah, big pickoffs. ByuN punishing ShoWTimE. Yeah, the blink control a little bit lacking there in the center of the map. It does escape with most of his army. Gateway explosion behind this. Building up towards Colossus, towards... still, I don't believe we have embraced charge yet. I think we have. But Colossus production underway. And even though ByuN is being active, we should be able to hold on to our bases. Like, ShoWTimE should be feeling pretty safe and secure. Yeah. Zones away the Metamax. Observer gets eyes on the Marauders. We are in position. Looking good. Looking good. And there we go. Yeah, now charge is on the way for ShoWTimE to be able to reinforce and help support his army. ByuN just fighting for map control. He's taking his 3rd base. And I would say at the moment, ByuN is ahead economically. Usually the Protoss player wants to be up a base, and ShoWTimE does have a 4th, but the 4th is not saturated yet. The 4th is still on the way. So ShoWTimE is, as a result, going to fall a little bit behind here in the overall army supply, as ByuN is taking advantage of his economy. And he does threaten the 4th. ShoWTimE in position. Does rotate over. At the same time, ByuN threatening the natural. Going for a split push. Dives in. Does go for the dive. Doesn't quite commit. Force fields are thrown down. ShoWTimE, he's holding. Nice defense. Holds the right and left hand side. ShoWTimE is holding his own. ByuN backing off. That is a 4th CC on the way for ByuN. Taking another base. Working towards 2-2. Still being active. Rotates around. He is looking to collapse on top of the 4th. But we have cannons. We have shield batteries. We have an overcharge. But ShoWTimE doesn't have his entire army. Here we go for the dive. But we focus on the first Colossus. We do get a snipe. Yeah, 1 Colossus goes down. But another rises to take its place. ShoWTimE does hold. That was a good pick-off. Now sniping a Colossus. ShoWTimE saturating his 4th, as ByuN is getting his own. Rotating around. ShoWTimE working towards disruptors. ByuN once again wants to dive in. So it's the army away. But we can see that we have it extended. This time ShoWTimE was ready for this. He was in position. Forces ByuN back. Whew. Okay. ShoWTimE holds. Did cost him a Colossus, but does hold on. Dark Shrine is on the way. 2nd row before double disruptor production. We are building up. We're getting in. We're embracing the mid game here at this point. And soon ShoWTimE will be able to break out and fight for map control himself. We'll soon have more of a back and forth. ShoWTimE taking a 5th, going for the gold of all bases. Bold move out of ShoWTimE. Bold move. This War Prism does load up. ShoWTimE making his way towards the main. Ooh, Vikings, they barely do miss the Prism. Oh my god! ByuN barely does miss the Prism. And ByuN will not be ready in the main. So there's a lot of potential here. ShoWTimE, he spots the main army with the Observer, goes straight for the mineral line, straight for the main base. And DT's zealous and wreaking havoc. There are reinforcements. The production is helping to defend. But we drop into the natural as well. We force another skin. And we get 7 ACVs. And you can see the minimap. We force the entire army back home. And ByuN turns everything around. And this gives ShoWTimE so much time to max out. ShoWTimE is maxed. He has disruptors. Has plenty of Novas available. And can ByuN break this? The armies are about to clash. He's pushing in. Nova goes off. Oh my god. Disruptor is going to be sniped. Close move there out of ByuN. It does kite away. Vikings in your hand. They bring down one of the Colossus. And ByuN is kiting well against these Zealots. EMP going to be going off. Nova will connect. Okay, shuts down the Marauders. Bio Army has to pick up. ByuN does evacuate. But they're getting brought down the Disruptors, brought down the Colossus. ByuN does maintain his supply lead. And he doesn't stop. Keeps on pushing. Does keep on pushing, shuts down the prison. Cleans up the DTs. There's still 4 Disruptors we're pushing into. ByuN has to respect it, he backs off. ByuN does back off. Fusion Core on the way, Liberator production has begun. For a long time, ByuN would often actually avoid Liberators in TVP. So I appreciate that he's making use of them here. Liberator production has begun. We have +2 ship weapons on the way as well. Fusion Core is going to be for Liberator range. And ByuN is taking a 5th, or soon to take a 5th. The CC is done. And more CCs on the way. Doom Drop does hit the 4th. Catching some workers, not bad. Jumping into the main. Zealots can be cleaned up. Nice EMP on the Zealots. Yeah, it looks like we are getting a bit out of control. At the same time, ByuN's main army is going towards the gold. And can ShoWTimE defend? Novas go off. They throw back ByuN. But the drop in the main base is getting a bit out of hand. And the choke point is brutal. But the Zealots will eventually break through. ByuN has to pick up. Get the hell out of there. Ooh, getting cleaned up here as the drops go down. We collapse on the main army. We focus on one Disruptor. And the other as well. ShoWTimE is getting pulled apart. He did defend his main base, but what about the gold? What about the 5th? A Liberator has arrived. We dive on the Colossus. An ambitious dive here out of ByuN does not get it. He gets punished. Yeah, the punish is real. 16 SVs go down and Zealots wreak havoc across the map. Very nicely done. ShoWTimE gets a mineral line, loses his own. Both players coming up at it and bruised. But ShoWTimE does break out. He's pushing towards the fresh bases of ByuN. And that is not a planet. Oh, no, okay. It is a planetary. We're good. For a moment there, I thought it was an orbital. But it is a planetary. ByuN holds. Does affect the army. ShoWTimE has to back off. Do have a fusion core. Getting into our medevac upgrade. I'll be honest, I can't remember what it's called. Like the new medevac upgrade. Not afterburners, as we got rid of that, unfortunately. We got rid of the Vindicta upgrade. We get 6 SCVs. 6 SCVs gonna be going down. Not bad. Liberators not used in the main army, gonna be used to harass instead. They are gonna be a nuisance. Catching more workers. Keeping ShoWTimE busy. Both players, they back off. Both players, they take this moment to rest, to take a moment to breathe and max out. Now, what I'm concerned by here, in this moment, ShoWTimE should be taking up towards SkyToss. Like, this is a really good moment for that, but here we go, the main armies do clash. Novas go off. Good connections. Good connections here from ShoWTimE. Another Nova will zone away the army. But because ByuN is embracing mass lib, he's making 4 Liberators at a time. SkyToss needs to be the answer, and there it is. Now we get the first Stargate on the way. Massive Zealot counterattack does hit the planetary. Planetary does barely go down. Solid pick off. ShoWTimE brings down a base. Again, I would have liked to have seen that Stargate earlier, but it's on the way. ShoWTimE is thinking of SkyToss. We're getting there. Are getting there. Stargate is now done. This can lead towards a fleet beacon and additional Stargates. Ooh. One Liberator gets sniped. As ShoWTimE moves out, he's out of position. Force the recall. And ShoWTimE does turn back around. Going to try and collapse on the main army. ByuN has to back up. Does pull away. Cheeky moves out of ShoWTimE. Going for the Hail Mary Novas. Don't quite connect. Both armies are still maxed out. Liberators, they have arrived. We have freedom. The freedom is here. Nova's going off. Not a bad connection. Raising the army. Nothing too major yet. Otherwise, we'd even force a bit of friendly fire. But ByuN, he's zoned ShoWTimE away. He's going for the gold. As ShoWTimE out of position. And Liberator's just cutting a ShoWTimE off. Big shot's going to be going off on the main army with those freedom zones. Zealots collapsing in. It looks like those ShoWTimE should be able to break free. Means up the lives, but here towards the south, we catch all the probes. The mineral line. 10 probes go down. ByuN pulling ShoWTimE apart. In the main fight, I almost want to favor ShoWTimE, especially without all those liberators, but ByuN, he has a secondary army. Catches out these zealots. Nice trades. More liberators on the way. ShoWTimE, he's going into phoenixes. That I was not expecting. Okay. Phoenix production has begun. Nova's going off. Ooh, no connections. Nice splits here out of ByuN. Very impressive. Does avoid the shots. Oh, but the drops back at home. Back across the map do get shut down. And a Nova does finally connect. Very back and forth. Very, very close here between these two players. ByuN, sure, he gets damage done, but he's also trading out a lot of his army every time. Whether it's Liberators, whether it's, of course, the ByuN army. There is no planetary. The orbital is exposed. SCVs are going to be going down. A lot of SCVs. We just made it over. Yeah, we just transferred 22 SCVs going down at the same time the goal base is shut down. Trading a base for a base. And we're going to keep pushing. Yeah, we're going to keep on going. Committed to the base trade. ShoWTimE turns around. Uh-oh. ShoWTimE does turn back around. Racing back home. Shut down the medevac. ByuN expanding on the right-hand side. I believe that's the main. He just lifted up and landed his main base on the right-hand side. Goal base is spotted. ShoWTimE is maxed out. I mean, ByuN, he just lost the base. He barely has an economy. He's down to 42 workers. ShoWTimE, he's doing it. He's pulling it off. This ByuN, he just cannot recover. He cannot replace his army. Yeah, the trades are becoming too much. You can see the Mule Hammer on the right-hand side. A desperation Mule Hammer. We do throw down the freedom zones. We can't actually push in. The mineral wall, it's still there, and ByuN cannot save his base. The CC is going to go down. The workers as well. We shut down every single mule. And ByuN, he's run out of steam. It's not looking good here for the Korean Terran. A very chaotic, very dynamic back and forth for so long. But ByuN, he lost the most important mining bases, and without them, he can't keep up. He just can't replace his army. He cannot pull it off. Not anymore. The base trade is all we can hope for. ByuN, he sends everything across the map. Goes for a massive counterattack. We'll shut down the Nexus. ShoWTimE can always recall. ShoWTimE will lose 2 bases, and he is turning back around. Wants to try to catch the main army. Actually, ShoWTimE rotating over towards the linear third. Yeah, the planetary still has mining going on, but it's going to go down. There's no saving it. Liberation zones have arrived. But the planetary does fall. Oof, a lot of free shots going off of those zealots. But ShoWTimE is going to be collapsing on the main army. It is going to be close. ByuN does have a high army supply. Kiting well. Novas, they will not connect, and ByuN gets us around. Oh my god, the flanking Nova does connect. But the Marauders, they hold on. And ByuN takes the fight. Oh my god. Despite not having an economy here, ByuN somehow brings it back. He has the more efficient army. He outtrades ShoWTimE. Now ByuN is down to 14 workers. He has 14 SCVs left. He doesn't know how to have an economy. No economy here for ByuN. He's relying on mules more than anything. He's on one base, but the main army. He's trading well. He shuts down the Zealots. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take it. We'll take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. I loved the cheeky smile that ByuN had after that game as well. Chug it down, Poppy. Chug it down. GG. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can bring it back or if ByuN can tie up the series. As a reminder, BASILISK, they're up 2-0. BASILISK, they do have a lead, or they were up 2-0. Now they're, and here we go. We're jumping in and spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have ByuN for Shopify. In the bottom right, we have ShoWTimE for BASILISK. Here we go. Again, because of the map itself as well, just winding it back a little bit, if you remember, both ByuN and ShoWTimE went for very economic builds on Alkyone, which led into a passive early game, into the mid game, in towards the late game as well. We had a very kind of longer macro game between our players. As we load into a bit of a smaller map here, I'm curious how we open up and how we adjust. I don't expect the same dynamic. Not in game 2. Not in game number 2. So now, we're going for standard openers. It looks like ByuN is going for a rack expand. Only a single gas opener from our Terran players, so ByuN opening up economically. Likewise, ShoWTimE doing the same, going for a straight up gate expand as well into a delayed cybercore. Okay, so economic builds all around. Both ByuN and ShoWTimE. And we'll see if ByuN does go for a 1-1-1 variation, if he goes for 3 racks. I'm curious if ByuN does decide to be a little bit more aggressive this time instead. As a reminder, last game, ByuN went for a 3cc 3 racks. Very greedy build in that last game. And do you see what I see? I see a second racks. Okay. ByuN, you have my attention. Second racks in production. This looks like the beginnings of a 3 racks. ByuN looking to embrace a much more aggressive follow-up. Yep, there it is. So you can see on the production tab, that is a 3rd racks on the way. So ByuN going for a racks expand into a 3 racks. This is going to be a very, very potent, very strong stim timing. So ByuN looking to embrace that stim timing with a heavy bio army. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can scout this, and we'll see if he can respond. For now, ShoWTimE opening up with a Twilight Council. If ShoWTimE opens up Twilight Council 2-gate blink into a 3rd base, I'm going to be a little bit concerned for ShoWTimE. It is going to be more ideal for ByuN to actually break through and snowball out of control. So, my eyes are definitely on ShoWTimE to see how greedy or how safe he's going to open up. I'm hoping we see an extra gateway for ShoWTimE, but we'll see. For now, blink is on the way. And the question becomes, how many gateways will ShoWTimE work with? Reaper dips in, poking away at the natural base. Likewise, end up shading out. And we will get an SCV. It's okay. That's a 1-to-1 trade. Less than ideal here for ShoWTimE. Going for, so far, a single gateway into a robo. Second gate's on the way, and I'm hoping we throw down an extra 3rd gateway, but it looks like we may just be leaning towards a 3rd base instead. A more economic build for ShoWTimE. Oh boy. So my eyes are definitely going to be on ByuN here. ShoWTimE is building up. Yep, there he goes. It's going to be 2-gate blink into a 3rd. ByuN does confirm the 3rd base timing. He's going to be feeling pretty good about himself here. So this tells me that ShoWTimE is going to be having that much less to defend. He's only going to have 2 gateways to warp in to reinforce. And ShoWTimE may skip the early Immortal as well. And if we cut those corners, ByuN, this move out, it's going to hit so hard and may snowball out of control. We'll see. We shall see as ByuN, he's moving everything out across the map. Stim finishing up in a couple of seconds. And I don't think ShoWTimE can save the third. I mean, we'll see if ByuN goes for the third or if he goes into the natural. Like, how aggressive and how committed does ByuN want to be here? The Observer does spot the army. ShoWTimE is aware. Nicely done. We just stim in. We stim on forward, and we do have sentries. We force field the ramp. We force field the natural. And we can just go for the base. Yeah, we can just go for the third. Trading with the army. Safety Immortal does pop out. Whew. Thank God. We have the Safety Immortal. And with that, ShoWTimE will hold on. We have a second stim. ByuN, he wants the Immortal, and he's going to get it. Yeah, barely. It barely does go down. We get the Immortal. We get the Sentry. Solid pick off here for ByuN. And he's still rallying across the map. And he may just turn around and go for the army. Yeah, another stim. A third stim here for ByuN. Cashing the Stalkers, getting on top of the sentries. We get one, we get a Stalker as well, and ShoWTimE, he's in trouble. He's barely holding on. We focus on the final sentry. Nice blinks out of ShoWTimE. He will defend. ShoWTimE will, oh my god. Expensive losses though. ShoWTimE will defend, he will hold on. But it cost him so much. It cost him every single sentry, cost him the Immortal, cost him Stalkers. And ByuN is expanding. ByuN is expanding back at home. Now, at least ShoWTimE survived, right? Like, at least he didn't die, and he preserved most of his probes. His mineral line was untouched, for the most part. So we have a game. We do have a game here. I do want to give the edge to ByuN, just because of his hyper-aggression. Like, he has momentum right now. Like, this is the army. We have one Stalker, one Sentry, and one Immortal. This is it. Like, this is what we have. If ByuN pushes out right here, right now, he might just break ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, he's got 7 gates on the way. He has a Colossus that's halfway done. When the Colossus pops out, we defend. But until that time, ShoWTimE is very vulnerable. And ByuN, he's rocking up with wave number 2. The Colossus needs a couple of seconds. I think we defend. Yeah. I think ByuN, he takes too long. ByuN, he takes a couple of extra seconds, and with that, we're waiting for the Medivacs. ShoWTimE has the Colossus. He has a Colossus just in time. ByuN rotating over, gets eyes on the 4th. ShoWTimE is holding. For now, ByuN going for a dive, gets eyes on the Colossus. Force fields are baited out. They are going to be baited. ByuN pulls back. Forcing energy to be spent. Stimming in once again. Going for the gateway, and we'll get it. Gateway goes down. We have a second Colossus. And with that 2 Colossus set up, ByuN has to respect the army, has to back off. Doesn't want to throw away too much. And does rotate around. And that means that ShoWTimE gets away with his 4th. Gets away with the 4th Nexus. We collapse on the main army. Forcing ByuN back. Hopping up out of ByuN. Do love to see it. But the game will progress. The game will progress from here. And ShoWTimE with a nicely timed 4th. Much faster than the 4th base in the previous game, at least comparable to the economy of ByuN. 4th base getting up and running. Colossus are amassing, we have +2 on the way. Likewise, ByuN building up towards Ghost Academy, or towards Ghost Production as well. We've made it to the mid-game. We've made it, Pat. We've made it. Let's go. Have made it all the way. ShoWTimE going for a second robo. This should be for Disruptor production. For those Purification Novas. And likewise, we see ByuN, just for now, staying and relying on the single starport for Vikings. And once we get into our 4th, we can afford a second starport and double down a little bit harder. Even more towards Liberators. Work towards those libs. So then ByuN is pushing. ShoWTimE taking the gold. Bold move out of ShoWTimE. Rushing into the gold base. Let's see if we can get away with it. Like this. Oof. Stalker goes down. Second Stalker as well. ByuN threatening a dive. At the same time, ShoWTimE, he has no fear. He goes for a Zealot counterattack. Moving out across the map. Headed straight for the third base, so we have some good SimCity. Big matchups going off. ByuN will clean up the Zealots. He's forced back home. And because he's forced back home, we get away with the gold. ByuN has no idea. I believe he has no idea of the gold base that ShoWTimE has taken. So he's getting away with murder here. And both robots, they get up and running. Disruptors underway. ShoWTimE looking good. Looking solid here. And with that gold base, ShoWTimE is going to be able to afford to trade. He can afford to be a little bit more aggressive here against ByuN. As the gold base is fully saturated. Ooh, the Prism gets shut down. Nice pick up there from the Vikings. A very nice pick up. As there we go, there's with the arrival of the fourth base, we have a second starport. Fusion cores on the way. We're getting ready for Liberators. Are getting ready for that. Diving in. There he goes off. Oof. Bit of friendly fire. No big connections. Much better here from ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, the Vikings, they go ham. They shut down the Colossus. And what about the ground army? Disruptors are on cooldown. They need a little bit more time. Vikings going to be landing. Nova's going off. Zoning the army back. Mainly connecting with Vikings, but ooh. No big connections. As ByuN, he's out trading the Protoss army. Breaking on through. The Novas, they've been okay, they've been decent. But not enough to stop the main army, to stop the tide of Terran. ByuN rotating around. He's still not confirmed the gold. And still has yet to scout it. Yeah, he hasn't seen it yet and he won't. ShoWTimE does collapse in. Catching a lot of ghosts. Oh my god, that's 3 ghosts going down. At the same time, ShoWTimE going for a Zealot counterattack, trying to distract ByuN. ByuN does hold on. And ByuN with the scan, he confirms the gold. Is now aware. How do we approach this? ShoWTimE bled out a lot of his army, a lot of his gateway units. And replace them, just needs a little bit more time for extra warp-ins. I'm pushing forward. Sets up his libs, catches a disruptor, gets 1, gets 2. And ShoWTimE caught out of position. And caught exposed, 3 disruptors go down, there's 3 left. 3 disruptors remaining, and one of them almost goes down. We're down to 2. 2 Novas, that's all we have left. And ByuN, it looks like he's breaking through. Snowballing out of control. There's just not enough of a backbone here. Not anymore for ShoWTimE. Just unable to keep up with these trades. And the Liberators, they just zone away the main army. Stalkers do blink in. Focus down the libs. Not bad. ShoWTimE's holding. He's holding on. Zoning ShoWTimE away. We can threaten the gold, but we have to respond to the main army. ByuN is keeping up. Nova once again zoning him back, but ByuN, he's already maxed out, and we catch the disruptor. Oh, barely not. Unfortunately here, ShoWTimE, he's just bled out so many disruptors, he's stuck replacing them. Not able to build up a solid count. Also the Colossus earlier as well. Vikings are a bit dead supply. Ducklings back. And thankfully, because ShoWTimE shut down all the Liberators, he is going to be able to hold on. He holds on. does survive, holds onto the goal base as well because he showed him expanding on the right hand side, and ByuN was unable to deny any of these expansions. Sure, even though ByuN was trading very nicely against the main army, because he didn't touch the economy, ShoWTimE can afford it. He can afford to lose disruptors and gateway units the way he has been. Did I speak too soon though, because we drop into the main? At the same time, ShoWTimE is out of position, he's distracted, and we go for the gold. A very nice setup here by ByuN. Shuts down the gold base, that's going to be a kill on the Nexus. ShoWTimE trying to trap the army. Trying to collapse in. Liberators do set up. Novas don't connect. ByuN jumping back into the main. As ShoWTimE out of position. More gateways going down. ShoWTimE going for a counterattack, bit of a desperation move. Oof. Novas will connect. Planetary goes down. But ByuN, he wants the disruptors. Doesn't quite get it. They do recall just in time. Slick moves there out of ShoWTimE. Does evacuate. Does get away. At the cost of a base. We've been here before. ByuN is down to 4 CCs. Does have a good worker count, but ByuN is oversaturated. Does need another base. Does need a base as ShoWTimE. He collapses on the main army. Gets a medevac. Gets 2. Massive pickoffs, and ShoWTimE is going to keep pushing. Yeah, momentum is on the side of the Protoss. We were here even in the last game, where ByuN barely has an economy and can barely replace his army. And the third base is going to go down. Liberators are being annoying, but yeah, ShoWTimE, as long as we focus with the main force, we can break through. Yeah, Orbital gets chased down. Ghost Academy as well. And ByuN is up against the wall. Now, ByuN did have a miracle comeback in the last game, like despite being in this very similar position, where he was able to out-control and out-micro ShoWTimE and pull apart his army. But what are the odds that happens again? As we bring down another base, 26 SCVs. ByuN down to 1 base economy. We do pick off an Immortal. Not bad. One Immortal goes down. If you recall, basically the turning point that occurred in the last game was when ShoWTimE got surrounded. When he got his disruptor surrounded, when he lost every single disruptor. That was the moment that ByuN brought it all back. Can he do it again? So we're going for the final planetary. Liberator's going to be targeted down. Nova's just turning the army away. And this time we're only pushing it from one angle. Far easier here for ShoWTimE to zone the army back. That's a kill on the planetary. That's the last mining base of ByuN. And yeah, we just collapsed it. We don't even need the disruptors. Not anymore. Zealots, they trade well. ShoWTimE still has an economy. He can replace this army. Replace these zealots. And things are looking more and more dire here for ByuN. And again, he needed that 2-0. He needed to fight back for his team. ShoWTimE rotating over. ByuN stimming forward, but there are plenty of Novas here. ByuN just cannot engage. We get the surround. ShoWTimE coming in from behind, collapsing on the main army. And ByuN can only do so much. Does focus on a lot of those disruptors, but the Novas, they connect. Massive connections. And ShoWTimE has done it. Will deny the 2-0. Will deny the comeback here of ByuN and the comeback of Shopify. GG gets called and ShoWTimE takes the 1-1 score. GG. GG, very well played here. Again, honestly, a really impressive series out of ShoWTimE. Not just game 2, but game 1 as well. I was alluding to it before, but ShoWTimE was ahead. ShoWTimE, he was winning game 1 as well, where he was able to cripple the economy, to shut down the bases. It was just the sheer micro and army control of ByuN that carried him through game 1 and pulled off a crazy upset, or I say upset, a crazy comeback, better way of putting it, in game 1. Here in game 2, unfortunately, ByuN didn't really have as many opportunities. Golden Aura is a little bit more straightforward. There aren't as many kind of opportunities to surround and to come in from multiple angles. It is a little bit more of a choky map, and because of that, ShoWTimE was a lot more secure. There was less potential for surrounds, and yeah, ShoWTimE was able to shut down those fringe bases, get away with the gold. More importantly, right, there's a lot of layers that came into that game, but ShoWTimE was so greedy and got away with the gold base for so long, took extra bases, maintained himself. More than I can say for ByuN, as ByuN was struggling to maintain his. I'd beat Reynor 2-0, so we get ByuN versus Serral. I would love to see an ace match. I would love to see an ace match here, but here we go. In the top right hand corner, we have Scarlett for Shopify. In the bottom left, we have Reynor for Post Youth. Post Youth? Well, for BASILISK. Here we go. We have our ZVZ. I'm always going to remember Rex versus Reynor on this map. That was peak Rex. For those who remember, Rex, he went for a 12-pool drone pool versus Reynor. It was like 2 weeks ago, and he popped off. Like, Rex, he was an animal, and always a big fan. Much love to Rex, much love. That was in the Offside versus Offside versus Basilisk series. But for the time being, it's going to be a hatch gas pool, standard openers between both Scarlett and Reynor. As we mentioned before, Scarlett, there's a lot of pressure on her to get the 2-0. We need to get the 2-0 here to force the ace match. A lot of pressure on Scarlett. I could be mistaken, but I believe Reynor is back in Europe, correct? I believe Reynor has returned to Europe from his trip in Korea. As I think it was like 2 weeks ago where Reynor was having his final Korea stream. Has made his return. Likewise, Scarlett, of course, is back in China. Has returned. Oh, I say returned. Has spent quite an amount of time in China, but is there a little bit more long term? And that does impact the overall ping here. Does mean that one game is going to favor one player, the other game will favor the other in terms of servers. Reynor's in Croatia, according to Roddy. Oh my, what's he doing in Croatia? What the hell? Okay. I mean, there you go. Technically Europe, I guess, technically. But is no longer in Korea. Oh, as Scarlett is rushing into an Evo Chamber. Okay. Evo Chamber +1 melee. Scarlett setting up for a Ling Flood. Very bold move here from Scarlett. Fast Evo Chamber into +1 melee. Now, the way this works, I don't know if you noticed, Ling speed has yet to be researched. The way this is lined up, if you're doing this yourself, with your first gases, you get into the Evo Chamber, you rush into +1 melee, then with your second 100 gas, then you invest into Ling speed, and it's lined up. Ling speed is faster than +1 melee, so it does line up in the end. Melee has to begin first for that time. As Scarlett needs one more rotation, and there we go, Ling speed is now on the way. So this is going to be a brutal timing here that Scarlett is working towards for that Ling Flood. Meanwhile, Reynor back at home goes for a safety Bailey Nest. So Reynor playing it out safe, going for the Bailey Nest. Does confirm the 2-base play from Scarlett as Reynor's taking the gold. And Reynor would be tempted to threaten a Roachworn instead, but is coming in for a secondary scout. So a very safe play out of Reynor. I mean, he's taking the gold, which is crazy. It's very bold, very aggressive. But he's playing it safe by not skipping the Bailey Nest. And the Overlord does come in from behind, and Reynor, he sees the Evo Chamber. This could be one of two things. This could just be +1 melee into a Ling Flood, or it could be +1 Carapace for a Ling Roach all-in. Of course, we can see there's no Roachworn. Reynor throwing down his own Roachworn himself. Did he cancel the Bailey Nest? Oh. Is he misreading this? I am concerned here. Reynor, he might believe that's +1 Carapace. Yeah, he's getting into his own. Uh-oh. Reynor, I think he canceled the Bailey Nest, which means he has no Bailey to defend. The Ling Flood is coming. Scarlett, she's massing Lings as we speak. Reynor with the misread. Lings soon to be... Okay, never mind. It finished. We're okay. For a moment, I thought we canceled the Bailey Nest. We have 3 Bailings. We have 3 Bailings on the way. We're okay. We're okay, Papi. We are going to be okay. I mean, as long as they connect. Depending on where they are. Again, I have no control over the camera. I can't pick and choose what we see. But 3 Bailings are morphing in. They are at the gold. Yeah, Scarlett dives forward, but alas, no way into the goal base. Reynor does defend, and Reynor is getting away with the superior economy. Now, Scarlett does back off, and she's working towards +1 Carapace and a Roach Warren, but Reynor already has his own Roach Warren, already has Carapace on the way. Melee, of course, will not be a factor in these Roach battles. Reynor's in a better position. Straight up, better position here. The Ling Flood had potential, but oh my god, we almost catch the Lings. The Ling Flood has potential here for Scarlett, but Reynor played it safe. And as a result, yeah, we gotta shut this down. Do clean up the Lings. Scarlett's still working with Mass Ling. There's one Baneling left here for Reynor. Thankfully. And Scarlett is basically going for a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in here from Scarlett. We're doubling down, cutting workers at 36, and massing up roaches. Oh boy, one way or another, the game is about to end. Either Scarlett's able to break Reynor, or die trying. Getting to Ling, Mass Ling Ravager. Ravagers are morphing in. The goal for Scarlett is we use the Lings to lock down the roaches, and then the Ravagers bottle everything down. So even though Scarlett will have a smaller army, because of the potential of Biles, Scarlett can still take a fight. If we can surround and if we can pile down those roaches, Scarlett can win this. Ravagers are revealed. Overload goes down. Reynor getting in position. Spine Crawler's on the way. Wise choice here from Reynor, playing it. Let me take this seriously. Aware of the all-in. Roaches are amassing, plenty of Banelings as well. Ooh, as we did have a massive Baneling connection. Again, because of +1 Carapace, it takes 2 Banelings to kill a Ling. Scarlett going for a counterattack. Banelings do respond. And Reynor is holding his own. And Lings are being cleaned up. We dive into the main base, but alas, not enough damage. Massive Baneling connections in favor of Reynor. Dust shuts down the Banelings. Biles, they graze the army. But Scarlett, she's running out of steam. And running out of roaches, running out of Ravagers. And Reynor is going to shut this down. There was potential. Definitely with this aggressive style out of Scarlett, whether it was with the Ling Flood or whether it was with the follow-up Roach all-in as well, the Ravager all-in. There was potential. But as the game progresses, Scarlett's being outscaled. The reality is that Scarlett, remember, she's stuck on 2 bases. Stuck on 2 bases, and Reynor doesn't just have 3 bases, has the goal. The longer this goes on, the worse it becomes for Scarlett. Reynor is now eclipsing Scarlett in supply. Decent Biles, not bad. Biles do connect. Ooh. Taking down an Overlord. Efficient trades here by Scarlett. These are efficient trades, but remember, Scarlett is still on 36 workers. Lara's on the way. Really, we're just waiting for Roach Speed. Once Roach Speed kicks in, Reynor can break out. Can it break out? Ooh, Banelings, they morph in just a little bit too late. Do morph in a little bit too late here. As Queens are going down, these Lings, they're getting damage done. They're doing well for themselves. They focus on Queens. They threaten the main. Roach Speed is almost done for Reynor. And we're just waiting for that moment, waiting for that timing. And then Reynor can break out. Scarlett doubling down on Mass Ling Ravager. Has a comparable army. Does have a comparable army here as we do go for another massive Ling run by. The Queens are getting caught out, but Roach is a race back home. They will shut this down. Oof. Yeah, and GG gets called. We don't even get a final fight as the writing was on the wall, and Reynor will take game number 1, and that will be the series for BASILISK. GG, well played. BASILISK, they will claim the series here versus Shopify, as Scarlett did need to pull off the 2-0, but we will still play out game number 2. Game number 2 will still be played out here to determine if Scarlett can fight back for her own personal ELO, for, of course, the map score as well for the team, which is more important, true, for that map score. We'll see if we can bounce back, as it's going to be Scarlett's map of choice on Dynasty. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Scarlett for Shopify. And in the top right, we have Reynor for BASILISK. Let's go. Let us go. So we are going to be settling in. Dynasty is going to be an interesting one. I'll be honest, I haven't seen too many ZVZs on Dynasty. We've seen a lot of the other matchups, but ZVZ is not one of them. Are we going for the gold? Okay. I mean, in ZVZ, I guess this makes sense. I guess it does make sense here. Yeah, both players are going for the gold base, just because it takes a while to get into roach play, so the gold is something we can take advantage of, as we are only working with Ling Bane early on, but I'm curious where we go from here. I can't remember the last ZVZ I casted on Dynasty. It's been a while. Been a whole minute. So gold bases do make sense. Gases are on the way. And with the influx of minerals from the gold base, this can lead into a more heavy Ling Bane style. We could play 2 base as well, just like 2 base roach. I'm curious. We'll see how both players play this out. How both Scarlett and Reynor do approach this. Here we go. Will Mr. 50% come back or not? Who's Mr. 50? Who's Mr. 50%? Oh. Am I missing a meme back? Am I missing a meme? As we do see, Reynor can be main ending over towards the gold. Does main out over. Likewise, so does Scarlett. Are going to be saturating those gold bases. And again, we'll see how hard we commit to 2 base play, or if we take a third. I am not too familiar with how this dynamic plays out on Dynasty, so curious. But now, droning on up. I'm going to be droning. For Scarlett to pick this map, I would imagine she has a specialized build, and speaking of, Roach Warren is on the way. Okay, very early Roach Warren from Scarlett. Looking to go for a Roach Rush. Meanwhile, Reynor is going for a fast third. I mean, I say fast. Standard third base timing for Reynor. Scarlett going for a bit of a delayed third, but not for too long. As Scarlett is skipping Banelings, rushing in towards Roaches, and Reynor is still in the dark. Reynor's in the dark as to what's going on. Going for an early Evo Chamber. Now, this should be +1 Carapace from the side of Reynor. That would make sense. If it's Carapace, this would be for a Roach Ling all-in. Yeah, we're going for the Solar. We're going for a Roach Ling all-in from the side of Reynor. This can hit very hard. This can hit like a truck. And it makes sense on this map. The power of +1 Carapace is, of course... Ooh, Bailey that's on the way. Okay, I'm loving this read here from Scarlett. What I was about to say is that the power of Carapace and the power of this map is Carapace does mainly impact your Lings, does allow them to be more of a buffer, of course, to support your Roaches when we go for the all-in. And we're going to have so many Lings to work with because of the gold base. Meanwhile, Ling steps in, we just got the tech. Yeah, Reynor, he sees all. He does spot the Roach Warren, does spot the Bailey Nest as well. Scarlett going for her own push. Cutting workers early on. Lings to engage. Scarlett catching the better of Reynor here. Picking off more Lings. Roaches on the way, making their way towards the gold mineral line. Looking to deny mining time. As the Lings do face off. Roaches have arrived. Queens are in position. We have a small crawler, sorry, spine crawler as well. And can we hold on as Scarlett does focus down the drones? Gets one. Just the one for now. Ooh, massive bathing connection. Bathing does go off, takes down a lot of Reynor's Lings. And we have more Banelings on the way. Yeah, Reynor being zoned away. +1 Carapace still not done. Roaches are amassing. A very tense moment here for both players. The roaches are kept safe. Scarlett dragging the army back home. Reynor has to be so careful of these banelings. Does have to be careful here. As Scarlett rotates around, bailing is going to be baited out. And not the best bailing connections from Scarlett, but the Lings, they come in for the surround. They catch the roaches. They collapse in. Lings are racing back home, but we have the one bailing. It does go down, and Reynor, with these reinforcements, is going to be able to hold on. Yeah, cleans up the roaches. Cleans up the Lings. Reynor holds. And saying that, it does bleed out 5 drones, though. 5 workers go down at the goal base. Scarlett reinforcing. Saves a Ravager. Scarlett does have the slight economic lead. Does have that one Ravager as well. Once again, going for the bile. Oh! Not quite connecting. Has control of that location behind the mineral line. And Reynor, what can he do? How can he push in? Does catch a queen. Not bad. Does catch a queen. Queen trading with the Lings. Oh, Roach is going to get surrounded. The vials! Yeah, we can't bow down the army. Ooh, massive connection. Oh, but reinforcements are on the way, and you almost get the bailing off. Casito, papi, casito. Yeah, the bailing is targeted. Reynor's going to be forcing Scarlett back. More roaches on the way. Reynor is in a bit of trouble here. Down in supply. Both army and worker. That final Ravager finally going to be going down. Catch the Ravager, but Scarlett catches the roaches. Yeah, we get a full surround. Roach is going to be going down. And Scarlett may just have enough here. It's going to be close. Yeah, maintains her roaches. Cleans up the army of Reynor. Denies the goal base. And that's our win condition. Just deny mining as long as we can. And Reynor just can't keep up. In a mirror matchup, what can we do? We go for a counterattack. Not bad. Busting into the main. With reinforcements, we will clean up these Lings though. We catch a queen, but not much else. And Scarlett, she's going for the kill. Roaches have amassed. Forcing the split. Yeah, Lings, they get some good surface area on the roaches of Reynor. And Scarlett looks like she is barely breaking through. Again, a very aggressive build here out of Scarlett, and does play well. Specifically on Dynasty. Denies mining time, denies the goal base, and with that has the better economy. Snowballing out of control, breaking the natural. And Reynor has barely anything left. Has 2 roaches remaining. And Scarlett has done it. Has broken the back of Reynor. Impressive. Something that we wouldn't really see on another map, but specifically on Dynasty worked very well. Basically keeping Reynor on 1 base economy for so long. Or intermittently, I should say. And GG gets called. Reynor taps out and Scarlett fights back. Let's go. GG, well played. Unfortunately, no player cams. Would have been amazing to have seen them, but Scarlett does take a map off of Reynor and does fight back for herself and for her team. GG, well played. Congratulations here, as Scarlett does get the tied up series. I mean, looking at the lineups, pretty even scores, except for the first one, of course. Serral did pull his weight, did carry his team, getting the 2-0 over Harstem. GG, very well played for Serral. And with that extra scoreline, BASILISK will come out on top. GG, well played. But a very chaotic game there between Scarlett and Reynor. Very chaotic series, I should say. Very aggressive builds. And again, specifically because of the map of Dynasty, because of the goal base, the win condition there for Scarlett, or the purpose of her build, was to just deny mining for as long as possible. With that, to be able to just outscale and outproduce Reynor. Of course, outtrade him in the end and snowball into that win. GG, well played. Well played. Here tonight we had Twisted Fairy and BASILISK taking their wins over Offside and Shopify. And we're done. We're wrapping up for the night. Our second broadcast here. Earlier we were live with Sparkling Tuna Cup, and now we're done with WTL. I didn't have a lot of energy, Papi. Didn't have a lot of energy, but we made it, Papi. We made it. GG, well played. We did make it here, and as a reminder, we missed out on day 2 of WTL, but we will catch up. We will catch up tomorrow. I'm not sorry, not tomorrow. On Tuesday. Tuesday, we will catch up on WTL. Don't you worry, with day number 2. And tomorrow, we should be live with ESL Open Cup Asia. That is our next broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings. Tomorrow with ESL Asia. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, everyone. It has been a very intense weekend here. Back-to-back broadcasts. For those who don't know, yesterday we had a 10-hour cast. We were live for 10 straight hours going over Cheeseadelphia. It was an amazing broadcast. Shout out to Dolan, by the way. The Danger Dolan himself. He was the Cheeseadelphia champion over at a LAN event in America. So Dolan was our champion, taking down Rob in the grand finals. And I do recommend the VODs. I only got 5 hours sleep because it ended this morning, and we jumped back into it, got through the Tuna Cup, got through WTL, and we survived the weekend. Tomorrow we're gonna be back with ESL Asia. The day after that's gonna be back with ESL Americas, and afterwards on Tuesday we will have day number 2 of World Team League. That is the plan. So yeah, plenty more StarCraft coming up ahead of us. Outside of that, I don't think we have anything special. Quickly double checking. Double checking the calendar here. Let's see. On Wednesday, oh, never mind. Wednesday in the morning, we have the Code for Giants Cup. That is a Brazilian tournament, most likely featuring players like Eric, Inexorable, Master, Yan. Plenty of Brazilian players facing off on Wednesday. After that, we have Kung Fu Cup, followed by round number 9 of WTL. And KSL over the weekend as well. Yeah. KSL's over the weekend. WTL, STC. Let's go. We're back into the swing of things, Pap. We're back. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow, of course, and otherwise, you can check us out on all the social medias, !socials in the chat. You'll get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. All things StarCraft. If you do want to support us, you can follow us. Otherwise, you can check us out on Patreon. Otherwise, we'll see us tomorrow. You'll see us tomorrow in the evening. In less than 24 hours. Otherwise, thank you so much for. Oh, I see Dolan in the chats. Oh my god, Papi, GG, Papi, GG, best player in all of America, Papi. Oh my god, Dolan, calm down. Our most recent Cheeseadelphia champion. Get that, Papi, get that. Make a post. Chengdu has made her double spicy. Very aggressive builds. And I mean, I really did appreciate both games. I mean, Dynasty was very, very special, though. It was a very specialized build and inspiring as well. Was inspiring. Regardless, GG, well played. With that, we are going to be wrapping up here. And yeah, we'll look forward to some more StarCraft tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Hasta luego. Hasta luego, papi. Hasta luego.